Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're enjoying the videos that I've posted so far. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and check out my other videos. Today I'm going to be doing a quick question and answer. I actually kind of asked around to see if people had questions for a Q&A, and my friend Belle sent 15 and they're all really good questions, so I think I'm probably going to do about 5 of them today. And then I'll get to the rest in a future video. Maybe we can make this like a regular monthly thing. So if you have other questions, make sure you submit them in the comments. So question number 1 I think is a really good one. It's something that definitely was on my mind a lot when I started my business. So she asks, was it an issue having rainbow hair and tattoos getting clients? So this might not be super obvious right now based on my current hair color, but I do change my hair color a lot. I usually have turquoise. Lately it's been orange. I've done purple. I've done a lot of different colors. When I first started my business, I actually had brown hair. And then shortly after I got started, I still had brown hair, but I shaved the side of my head. And I had this like moment of panic after I did it, like, oh my gosh, what are my clients gonna think? So I think like most of the client meet and greets that I had after that, like while my side was shaved, I actually parted my hair down the middle. So it wasn't really visible. I mean, you would know that it's there if you were looking for it, but it was pretty much hidden. And then once I started doing the colors, like I think that was a year or two later, there was pretty much no hiding that. But by that point, like I felt a little more comfortable because I already had kind of a reputation. I had reviews. I was getting a lot of clients like word of mouth and by referrals. So I guess you could say like my first impression that I was making at the meet and greet wasn't really my first impression because clients already had something to go on. So I wasn't as worried at that point. And kind of the same thing for tattoos. When I first started doing meet and greets, probably for the first couple of years, I always wore long sleeves, which felt kind of ridiculous, especially during the summer when it was like 90 degrees and I would show up for meet and greet like in a hoodie. But yeah, I think this is a really good question because like I said, I mean, this was something that was definitely on my mind at that point. You asked if it was an issue getting clients. I don't think I've ever had a negative reaction to any of that stuff. Actually, if anyone has reacted at all or said anything to me, it's always been positive. Sometimes people will say like, you know, one of their kids has crazy hair, or they'll just say that they like my hair or they like my tattoos or whatever. And a lot of my tattoos are kind of related to animals, so sometimes they'll notice stuff like that. But yeah, it's never been a problem that I know of. And if someone did have a problem and didn't want to hire me because I had pink hair or tattoos, that person's probably not the right fit for me anyway. So question number 2 is, how and where did you advertise your business? When I very first got started, I was kind of starting to get connected in the vegan community and animal rights. And so a lot of my clients were word of mouth, especially because I had vegan in my business name. People wanted to tell their other vegan friends about me. So then after I kind of got that first round of clients, I just asked them to leave reviews for me. I set up a Yelp page. I actually spent very little money on advertising. A lot of my clients who didn't know me directly or know me through a friend came from Yelp. I also set up a Facebook page. Instagram wasn't around back then, or it might have been very first starting out, but I didn't start an Instagram until a couple years later. I also had a couple of t-shirts made. This was like way before I had my logo, but I just went to a website where you could like design your own t-shirts. So I designed some shirts with my business name on them. I also got some license plate frames for my car. So those are pretty much the places that I know for sure I got clients within those first couple of years. So from like word of mouth, referrals, social media, from my t-shirts, and I know that those worked because people literally like approached me and asked questions, and they still do. And then the license plate frames, I know those worked because I had on my contact form, and I recommend doing this if you're a pet sitter, on your contact form on your website, you want to have a box saying, how did you find us? So I had that on my contact form, and at least a couple people said they saw my license plate frame like while I was at the vet or while I was at the pet store or something, and they jotted down my information and they found me through that. And then also through Yelp. That was like the main review site back then. Now a lot of people I think are using Google My Business. So I have a page there too, but at the time I got a lot of business through Yelp. So yeah, over the years, I've spent very little money on advertising. I've tried to make the most of like the free promotions that are available to me. I've probably paid to boost like social media posts here and there, but I would say, I mean, since 2011, I've probably spent less than $200 on advertising. I paid for other things, like I paid for my logo design and, you know, stuff like that, but not so much on advertising. So question number 3 is, how did you decide what your area would include as far as distance from your home? So when I first started, my service area was a lot bigger than it should have been. I lived in Torrance at the time, and I think my furthest client I had someone in Orange County, and then I had someone in like North Hollywood or somewhere around there. I actually had one other person in LA near like Koreatown. So those were like my furthest people, and with traffic and everything, like sometimes it would take over an hour to get to them. Honestly, sometimes it could take like almost 2 hours in LA traffic. So in the beginning, I was definitely taking a lot of jobs that were outside what my service area should have been. Basically, if I was available and I wanted to take the job and I liked the person, I would say yes, which then became difficult because once you have a relationship with those clients, it can be kind of hard to like then shift your service area and tell them that they are now outside of your service area. And it actually took me a really, really long time to do that. So now my service area is mostly 20 minutes. Most of my clients are 20 minutes or less away, but I do still have a couple of clients who are a little bit outside of my service area, definitely not an hour to 2 hours away, but like just a little bit outside. And so I wanted to keep working for them and they wanted me to keep working for them. So I just charge a little bit of a distance fee to kind of help cover like the extra drive time and the gas that it takes to get there. I do think though, like since the question was kind of about deciding your service area, I think it depends a lot on like what kind of neighborhood you live in. Like if you live in a really rural area where houses are further apart, like I know some people whose typical service area might be 30 to 45 minutes because they live kind of out in the middle of nowhere and all of the people are farther apart. That's actually one of my favorite things about San Pedro is that everyone is pretty close together and there's no traffic here, so it doesn't take me very much time to get to my clients in this neighborhood. All right, question number 4 is about Bruce. So in case you don't know who Bruce is, that's my dog. He's about 9 years old now. He's, I think, a poodle mix. I mean, he's definitely a poodle. I'm not sure if he's mixed with anything. I rescued him. I actually found him on the street leaving a pet sitting job, and he's been with me ever since. It's been about 7 years now. So she's asking, how did you start bringing Bruce to clients' houses for play dates? So he originally started going to clients' houses because people would request him. Actually, the first 2 clients who asked me to bring him on our dog walks were people who had younger dogs, and then their other dogs were a little bit older and just not interested in playing with the younger dog. So one of the dogs was like a larger dog. His name is Junior. That was like Bruce's best friend for a while, and I'm like really sad. I actually really loved this client, this family that I got to work for, and they moved out of my area. And yeah, at the time the client had Junior, and then they had an older dog who was not really interested in his antics. So Junior's mom asked me to bring Bruce so Junior would have someone to play with. And the other client, it was kind of the same situation. Like they had adopted a younger dog and the other dogs they had were just not keeping up with the younger dog's energy. So they asked me to bring Bruce to kind of tire her out and give her a play buddy. So more recently, you've probably seen Bruce hanging out with Ernie. I would say that's his current BFF. Ernie's an only dog too, so he loves hanging out with Bruce. Bruce is an only dog, so they love having that social interaction. And then other than that, I've just had a couple of clients who have told me up front, like, if you want to bring your dog, it's okay. So sometimes I'll try to bring him, as long as it's not a day that I have like school after, or maybe I have a cat visit after where he can't go. If I just have my dog walking clients that day, then I'll try to take him with me. Okay, so this is going to be my last question. I'm going to stick to 5 questions today, but I'm actually going to skip to question number 11. Do you ever pick up one dog and then another and walk them all at the same time like in the movies? So there are definitely dog walkers who do that. They call it pack walking, and it's not something I've ever done. I've always just stuck with single family walks. So if I'm walking multiple dogs at one time, it's either because they're within the same household or because Bruce is with me. And yeah, so I've never done pack walking. It's always made me a little bit nervous. I know people do it and they have no problems, but I don't know. It just seems like there are a lot of things that could go wrong. So yeah, I guess I'll keep that answer short. There are people who do it, but it's just not for me. So that's it for this section of the Q&A. If you have any follow-up questions about the topics I covered, or if you have any brand new questions, go ahead and put them in the comment box. I hope you will like this video and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.